Welcome to Faces of Fleet, a video interview series from Work Truck, where we take a more personal look at the many interesting people in fleet and some of the experiences that helped shape them into who they are today. I'm Lauren Fletcher, Executive Editor of Work Truck, and today I'm chatting with Shaun Skinner, President and CEO of Isuzu Commercial Truck of America.
Hi, Lauren.
Having covered the vocational truck market for the past 15 years, Shaun is certainly no stranger in my world, and I'm sure is no stranger to our Work Truck readers and Faces of Fleet viewers either. But while you may know about Shaun's time and experience at Isuzu, he has a past that may just blow your mind. Shaun, thank you so much for joining me today.
Oh, my pleasure. You know what? Always great to visit with you, and glad to be here.
Great having a familiar face. All right, so let's get right to it. For those new to the work truck industry or anyone living under a rock for the past decade or more, can you share a little bit about your time with Isuzu Commercial Truck of America and your current responsibilities?
Certainly, no worries at all. I joined Isuzu Commercial Truck of America in 2002 and have been here since then. So quite a period of time. Through 2002 through about 2008, held down some jobs in both marketing and sales. And then in 2008, became the Executive Vice President, General Manager of Isuzu Commercial Truck of America and President of Isuzu Commercial Truck of Canada. And since then, you know, some small transitions between then, but been in those roles for quite a period of time now.
That's awesome. And how did you get involved working in the truck fleet industry to begin with?
I'm going to say it kind of evolved. I don't want to say accidentally, but when I started with Isuzu, if you can believe it, it was 1987. So I've been here over about just now 34 years this month, actually. So from 1987 through 2002, like I mentioned, I was on the light duty side where we had troopers, rodeos, and things along that line. I had always had an interest in the truck division for a couple of reasons. I always thought that it was really the core competency of Isuzu, and that's really where we made our living, and thought that it would be an interesting endeavor to get involved with. And some of the team members that I had known that had moved over the truck side had really been having, I think, a really good go of it. So I had voiced some interest, and fortunately, they decided to, take me on the truck side, and the rest is history, as they say. And so I've been there ever since.
That's great. That's great.
The joke was they put me on a diesel IV drip to get me where I was moving from the car side to the truck side to have a better understanding of everything. But it has been really good.
All right. So let's get right to the fun stuff. Okay. During a lunch conversation one day, I was delighted to find out about an incredibly interesting past job that took place in New York. Can you tell us a little bit about what took you to the East Coast?
You know what? I'll probably build you a clock here, but a friend of mine, his family owned one of the largest fireworks companies in the U.S., and they do a lot of major shows. And surprisingly, even though they're based on the West Coast, they did the Macy's 4th of July Spectacular, which is the show that is in New York City. And he was always a bit shorthanded on people that were, I would say, somewhat mechanically inclined, because I won't give myself an A in that area, but reasonably so. And so this was in the early 90s. And what he did is made a deal with some of his friends that if they could take time off of their real jobs, he would pay our way, give us a stipend, and we would go back to New York and set up the fireworks show that was televised, throughout the nation. And so I would take a week off of my job from Isuzu, and I would go back to do the fireworks show in New York City.
That's pretty amazing. That's definitely different than I think a lot of people's week vacations were at any point in time, I think, then or now.
Yeah, you know what? To take some vacation, I'll give credit to my wife, because the last year I did it, our son had just been born. And so I was thinking that she let me out of the house to really not do a family vacation, but go do that for a week's time was pretty good. But that was the fourth and final year that I did it, because I think work was starting to become a bit more demanding, and having children in the family at that point, it became a bit selfish on my part to abandon her for a week at a time, or even it really was a little bit longer. By the time you included the holiday, it was probably about 9 days that you had to be out of pocket, because unimaginably, it took a huge amount of time to set up just a 30-minute show. I mean, the show went on for 30 minutes, but it took us a week of really hard labor and a lot of heat to set it up. And, it took such a short period of time to really, for the final product to be on display. So, but
Well,
good.
Millions of people are very grateful, I'm sure, of your hard work to put that show together.
Yes, hopefully so.
Tying it all together, were there any lessons you learned while working with fireworks that you find yourself applying to your job today?
I guess my pun is don't be a dud, right? You don't be a dud. So, I think one of the lessons that I took from it was, maybe back to what I just said, it's really, I think there's a lesson to be learned that being prepared and how much time it takes to properly prepare for something that can really appear in such a short window of time. So when you think about it, we ended up getting the fireworks that were already choreographed and everything was already done on that. So there was a tremendous amount of effort to the music that it was choreographed to the, the actual fireworks that we were just putting onto the rail barges. It took us a solid week of work to do that, plus all the work that had already been done for a 30-minute show. And to make it come off where it was what I would say spectacular, just the name of it, it took a lot of time and effort to get it to that point where you had such a short period or such a short show or such a short window that there was so much effort into it. So I think if I was to take something away, it's when you really want something to come out super well, how much effort goes on behind the scenes to make it seem like it is almost effortless, because everything's choreographed, timed well. But in order to get that, it takes a lot of homework and a lot of time to everybody working and many people working together to synchronize everything in such a wonderful manner. So that was probably the major lesson that I took away from it. And I always like to tell everybody it was a blast. We had a great time doing it. It was a lot of fun.
Like I said, this is going to blow everybody's mind. So we're going to go with those puns a few times on this one.
No question about it. No question. And it is, like you said, I love to use it about a fun fact. Sometimes when you're at dinners, people ask you, well, what's something about you that would surprise me? And I like to tell them, well, I was a licensed pyrotechnician in the state of New York for several years. And they're like, what? So yeah, it's a fun fact and something I can look back on that was very different. And, I guess at this point in my life, a great topic of conversation without question.
Well, it certainly stuck with me after we had that conversation. And I think, listening to your story, I really get the fact that it's a lot more about the journey than the destination in so many things in life, and in this story especially.
Absolutely. And that's a great way to put it, without a doubt.
Shaun, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me and share a little bit about your past. For anyone interested in learning more about Isuzu Commercial Truck of America, Shaun Skinner, or for more videos on the Faces of Fleet or Truck Chat, check out the links below. And as always, thanks to my viewers for tuning in. Comment below and let me know who I should be chatting with next, and look for more episodes of Truck Chat coming soon, where I'll continue to focus on the people and the issues that matter the most to work truck fleets.